my name is Anya, and today I continue my series about the Vril. So, Vril is a magical energy, right? That cannot be compared with the current technique of serving purely physical powers. So, and the responsibility for the effects of the life energy is very great in ethical and moral terms. So, abuse of it ultimately wiped out Atlantis and other advanced cultures after thousands of years. So the power generated by this energy is an alternative to the current modern machine technology and its mechanistic basis, so to say. And also Vril cannot be destroyed, right? But I mentioned all of this before, just as a little intro. What I wanted to go ahead with today is kind of the mind and the brain and how we're literally blocking ourselves. And I will also introduce a rune or two to that. So, because we are so much more, right? And like I said, I explained Vril and where it's coming from far before. And also that we have the ability to change our DNA or to get healthy again. And we know, of course, of the that our DNA over the course of century got altered, right? So, but the question is, what makes us different from the gods or spirits, right? Are we different at all? So, and for this we should ask ourselves first, what is a god or a spirit? And I want to just ask that because we talk about that we have the ability that the universe dwells within us, that we have the same powers. So, what is a god or spirit? So, the gods are superior beings, right, with supernatural powers. And supernatural has nothing to do with Marvel. I mean, just listen to the word super and natural. Okay, so natural superpowers. Get it? So they exist in a dimension of existence that we call a higher level of consciousness or existence, like different realms or planes of existence. They do exist alongside our dimension, but we cannot see or experience them as long as our frequency and vibration is different. So, and now this is why what I always say, this is why it's so important to let go of old baggage and open your eyes and senses. And with old baggage, I don't mean only the program and bad experiences. I also mean, like, for example, our ego, right? Or at least balance our ego. Because ego is not bad. Like, you need a certain level of ego to, to move on, to protect, to set a barrier, like so people don't overstep. But you know what I mean. So, and once you open your eyes and senses, and only then you are able, and let go of baggage, only then you are able to raise your frequencies. Because just imagine all that old baggage pulling you down. I mean, how can you possibly move on, right? So other than that, your mind of consciousness is unable to register and perceive physical dimensions beyond our own if we don't raise the frequencies. So, and the gods, they dwell within us, within our very DNA, that the same divine powers they possess, we too possess in us. We do have them, and we have to discover them again, and we have to learn how to tap into this source so we can evolve into a higher state. And even back then, the Norse, they believed that one was reborn as how can I explain that? Let's say, for an example, right? That I, in my next life, would be, I don't know, my great uncle or something, or that I would be the granddaughter of the great grandmother or grandfather. So in this way, they believed all the informations were passed on in that DNA in our system. So let me read something to you that I found. It's very well written, and this explains a bit why we are so blocked from the programming. So and how we must change our mindset again, right? So let me read that to you. I find that very interesting, because I cannot always explain my thoughts, but this expresses it very well, and it's not for me, right? So here we go. Prior to the discoveries of the 20th century, Western science held fast to the firm conviction that the universe was composed of solid matter. Einstein's theory of relativity and quantum physics would begin to cause us to challenge this preconception. Atoms were considered the basic building blocks of this material universe. They were thought of as tiny, compact, indestructible, solid matter. Their existence was limited according to fixed laws within a three-dimensional space. The evolution of matter progressed in a linear and orderly progression, moving from the past through the present and into the future. Western science held fast to a determinist viewpoint that viewed the universe as a gigantic machine. Scientists, philosophers, and political theorists held fast to this determinist worldview, confident that someday they would discover all the rules governing this machine, so they could play God in discovering everything that had happened in the past and predicting everything that would happen in the future. They were confident that once they discovered the rules, they would be master over all they beheld. They even believed they could create life through a process of simply mixing certain chemicals in a test tube. Within the Newton worldview, life, consciousness, human beings, and creative intelligence were reduced to a simple accidental byproduct that evolved from an astonishing series of circumstances of matter. The materialistic model lends itself to a logic that hypothesizes that human consciousness, intelligence, morality, ethics, art, religion, and science itself are simply byproducts of material processes that occur within the brain. We know that consciousness has its origin in the brain, but this is entirely arbitrary. Endless clinical and experimental observations have shown a correlation between states of consciousness and various neurophysiological, some words are hard for me, and pathological conditions that include infections, traumas, intoxications, tumors, and strokes that prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that our performance and health are linked to biological processes in our brains. But this is not proof that consciousness is simply a biological reaction to working of a biological organ, in this case the brain. It means that the brain is the seat of our consciousness, but does not necessarily mean that consciousness originates in or is produced by our brain. This assumption by Western science is metaphysical rather than a scientific fact. We can make an analogy by stating that an expert television repairman can tell us what is wrong with a defective television set and how to repair it so that it will work once more. But this is not the proof that the set itself was responsible for producing the programs we see when we turn it on. But when we discuss the brain, it is the exact logic that it is employed by mechanistic science as proof that consciousness is produced by the brain. Interesting, isn't it? So when I did a little research more and more, I'm not that big of a fan of Einstein or Newton anymore. I mean, so of course science always tries to prove something that, you know, it can be explained. Some things you just can't explain. You can't, like our brain can't explain what Vril is, and that we are carrying the DNA of our ancestors, that knowledge that we are higher beings. And with this, of course, you understand maybe better why we are being programmed, right? So they can use our brain as a computer to program. So we have been programmed forever. They locked away our consciousness, you know, because it was programmed in there. Do you know where I'm going with that? So they made us more and more believe we're nothing, we're not worth it, we're just a chemical reaction, a byproduct of nature, and so on. But that's not the fact. And with some of the techniques that I'm trying to bring onto you, you can, you know, gain it back. And of course you need to be open and have to make a choice between, what was it, the red and blue pill? And I'm not saying by far that this is all easy, okay? And I'm not saying I'm not there yet, other than that I would have transformed already and poof, right? Bye. But no, I'm still working on that too. And so don't get me wrong here. I'm still working every day. Every day I'm learning something new. And every day I experience something new. Or I find something like that I thought I've dealt with, right? And like I said, with all of that, you don't have to become holy. You know, you don't have to take people's shit. You don't have people to take advantage of you. You know, and those people, if you have them in your life, they're just part of that baggage you have to get rid of. I mean, some of you know yourself how it is if you have toxic people in your life, right? That try to pull you back, that are not ready to move on, and they don't want you to move on. They just pull you back into their boat again. So, and that's just part of it. So, how can we get there? Well, yeah, with the breathing exercise and the meditation part that I talked about last time. Once you get in that state of the theta, you can visualize, right? So, and I think I mentioned that last time, like when I get into that trance state, I either see, I personally, I always see an entry of some sort. And that's what I told you too when I do energy work with people, healing work, energy work of any kind. We mostly go through an entry. And so, and from there you just take it, right? You either let your spirit guides or the gods, or whatever you prefer in this case, you let them guide you, and they will show you what you have to take care of or what is important for you, right? Or you try to visualize the issue you want to deal with. So I mean, there are many ways. So, and if you, let's say, want to visualize let's start with something simple. Let's say you want to visualize a new job that makes you happy, right? I mean, so when you're in that state, you really just will see the picture so clear in front of you, that you practically see yourself working there. Let's say you like to work in nature with plants. I like to take that because, just really imagine yourself walk through that forest and imagine yourself like, whatever you want to do when you work with trees. Let's say you're a park guard, you take care that everything is clean and stuff. Just an example. Just literally imagine yourself walking through there. I mean, just feel it, and you will start even receiving smells and senses. You will smell the trees, and when you in your vision, when you touch the trees, you will feel the bark of the trees, and or even if you want to become a lifeguard swimming, just imagine yourself how you jump into the water and you feel the water. But you can reach this if you get into that state. I mean, this is like really deep trance. Of course, you can just visualize or manifest, with the breathing technique, so that you really relax yourself first, and then but my personal recommendation is that you send out the energies, right? Like, breathe in, hold on to your vision that you have, breathe it out, and while you breathe it out, you send it to the universe. Just imagine that, and then you let it go. And I think I've talked about this before. Don't do that every day, because every day your thought might go a little off, and that means that the energy, the signal you're sending might be off a bit. It's the same like tuning a radio station. If you wiggle too much on the radio station, you might not get it back the same clear tune as you had it before, because you want it better. I hope that makes sense. So, you have a clear signal, but you think you can get it in a bit better, and then you wiggle on the knob, and then you can't find that spot anymore where the signal was clear. So, and this is if you constantly keep, manifesting the same thing, you might send out different energies because you're in a different mood today, or it's the best thing to manifest once, to visualize once, and then really let it go. So, and then the Vril will do its job, as long as it's positive, as long as you send it out 100%. Yes, I know that I will have that job as a park ranger, because I see it, I know I will. So, but make sure that it's not, I really would like that job as a park ranger, but I'm not sure if I'm made for that, but I still really would like that. So that's not a clear message. So, but you're getting my point, right? And like I said, the park ranger was just an example of whatever you like to manifest. So, and while you're manifesting, maybe manifest a little health for our planet here as well, right? make sure it's not always about you only. So, which works with some other runes I talked before, like with Fihu. Make sure you share your wisdom, your knowledge, and what you have. So, because this is another signal you're sending out to the universe, right? And then you will receive it back. But I think I mentioned that last time already. So I'm sorry if I repeat myself. So, and again, practice, of course, right? Start with little goals. Don't start right away with a Lexus car or something. Start with little things. Even if you have a headache. Or if, and I'm the one to talk. I have constantly headaches lately, but it's from my eyes. My eyes are dry. And from the furnace heat. So, or even like little things, but I don't take the time for myself either. So that's another thing. You really have to take the time for yourself. So, and you have to make sure you take the time for yourself. I have to do that again too, because we all know work, your job eats up most of your time during the day. So, but it's really important not to forget yourself. And jobs are kinda built into that programming too. I'm not saying we don't need them, because we do need the money. We do need to exist. But we need to go buy groceries, right? So, and I also believe that just because you're spiritual doesn't mean you have to be poor, or I don't need this or that because I'm spiritual. Yeah, even if you're spiritual, you need a roof over your head. You kind of need clothes. You want clothes, and I believe it's possible to have it both. Once you find that you loosened up that knot. And also, my knot is, for example, to receive. I have really problems to receive, which is totally dumb. So that's my knot I'm working on right now, right? So, and that's another thing. If you block yourself, that you think, oh, I'm not worthy to receive anything. Yeah, of course, I'm checking if I could get a bowl of Chinese food or if I should go grocery shopping on the weekend. So, but that's, like I said, mine, and I just throw it in here as an example, right? And, and I received stuff, right? And I was very grateful for that when I didn't expect it. So you need to be open for it. So, and that's what I mean. Let go of all of that crap. Because if old stuff gets in the way, you will not be able to manifest or visualize clearly. Because there will always be that little crumb of negative energy that goes along with it. I hope I make sense. So, yeah, and like I said, I always like to explain a rune to it. And since we were talking about the brain and the mindset, that they think everything is in the brain, which it's not. And yeah, I would like to go with the next rune with Odal. And it's connected with the first, with the atlas in your neck. So, okay, usually you start your way with a root. never from the crown to the root. You work yourself up either from every spine column, from bottom to top, or if you know your issue, you can of course work on that with a specific rune, but it always has to be made sure that there are not blockages in between, so the real energy can rise through your nervous system to the different body parts, okay? And this way you don't only heal that certain body part that you want to be taken care of, but you regenerate others as well. So that just as a little reminder intro again. It's very important. I mean, I talked about a few fire runes for the root chakra and the solar plexus, but for some reason I had the other one in mind today. It was, for some reason, it came to me that this was important. So, because I find it has something to do with our destiny, and everyone has the right to fulfill their destiny, right? So, and fate depends on the decisions that we make, and that we have to take care for, that we have to take responsibility for our lives. We have to become spiritual and fulfill our destiny that we plan. So and of course the path of fate is not easy because it has many challenges and lessons, but it is a way of growth and fulfillment. So, and the other way looks easier, but it, you know, the one with no resistance, it looks easier, but it also leads to sickness and discontent, because we're not growing. And I'm not saying that, you know, I mean, not every shitty situation is a lesson. I mean, sometimes you're really just you know, I don't want to get into this, but I mean, we have some shitty things happening where you think, yeah, okay, well, what am I getting out of that one now? But at some point, I'm sure you will get something out of it, one way or the other. So, but what I'm saying is, if you always la 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 la, everything is good and I don't mind, it happened in the past, and you just shove it back in the drawer and you don't take care of it, your drawer will overfill at one point and you will get sick. You know what I mean? So this is why, for some reason, Odal spoke to me on this one, because this is the rune to inherit ourselves, or she also stands for our identity and your true self, because Odal asks you to let go of old, so this way you become who you really are. And also with Odal you can connect to the ancestors, and this helps as well to become who you really are, right? You will wake the God in you. So, and like I said before, that the Norse believed that the dead were reborn in one of their, what's that word, descendant, and giving you kind of a marker in your roots, and this will assist you in determining who you are and what your mission in this world is, and if you are fulfilling it. So, and what type of legacy will you leave on this world? And Odal stands for the wealth, but not the kind that you can buy. So it's not a new car, it's the wealth, the wealth of knowledge, of learning, right? Or learning and then the knowledge. That's what it's about. Of course, it stands always for protection for your home, but that's a different subject. I'm just going into the healing and energy part at this point. So Odal bundles energy. So it's like a magical circle. So, and although this rune means kind of possession, of possessing something, not being possessed, it means loan rather than property, because actually nothing is ours, right? We just borrowed everything, including our bodies. Like, we're guests here with a purpose, which I'm still trying to figure out myself. So, and to experience the power of the rune, you need to concentrate and stay still and relaxed. So, and that's another part where you can try to train to visualize. Concentrate on one thought and then wait patiently for it to attract that energy. So don't force anything, and never forget your goal. So, and the energy of her thought leads it in the right direction. So keep always a close eye on your dream or your vision. And who knows, maybe our purpose is here to be where we are now, to help. Maybe we're just sleepers that are just sleepers in sense of sleepers, code word, red coat. So that now that we wake up now, right at this time where it's necessary, kind of like sleeping warriors. And by warriors, I don't mean like go out and shoot people. You get me. And the healing purposes of Odal that you can use for your body, and of course your mind, they are inherited diseases, hereditary disabilities, general grounding and stabilization of your vital force in general, and that you root them, and for security, insurance, and perseverance. So much for Odal. Also, you can work, of course, with Zovilu. The Zovilu rune is also very important since it's associated with the sun. But I talked too many times about Zovilu, and another rune came to me in this case, Manas. So Manas tells you literally that your fate awaits you, and once it does, claim it. To become spiritual, your body and your soul and your spirit have to be balanced. So, and accept the good and the bad, because this is the only way you can learn from everything. And when we learn from each lesson as it is, we strive forward and therefore upward. So Manas is the rune of to own yourself, to live every moment of your life, and live every moment in your life in an unusual way, and only act from the present. Don't act from the past, because you will build with your past the future, and you don't want to do that, right? You want to leave the junk behind. You want to build it from the present, from where you are, from the lessons that you have received already. And I'm not talking of every general bullshit that happens, losing your wallet, like I like to do that 500 times a week in my house though, or crashing your car without getting hurt. I don't call everything a spiritual lesson, okay? Just so you know, I'm grounded, so I'm not always there. So you know what I mean. But you want to build the future from the present moment, from what you have learned and acknowledged, from what you have claimed for yourself. This is where you want to go. So, and therefore, to heal with this rune, you can eliminate self-deception, and also it can be used for dementia, for harmonization of your body control, of the motor function, if you have issues with this. Make sure that if you want to heal yourself with runes, and I mentioned that before and I do it again, make sure you are familiar with runes. Be sure you are connected to them. Preferably know how to heal if you have looked into that. And most of all, preferably, the best is, of course, if you know someone who knows the runes, who knows how to heal, to do energy work, because runes are very strong. And I know I repeat myself again, I don't care. They're very strong energy. So let's say you want to work on a lung problem, a lung issue. Avas goes with that. Avas is a strong rune itself, right? It's also the tree of life. But let's just imagine we're using it now for this one issue, for your lungs. So you do it, you do the spine, the energy, you let the Vril flow in, but the disease has to flow out somewhere. So, and if you have a blockage in your solar plexus, root, or wherever, it cannot flow out. It will just get stuck and it will make it worse. So meantime, Avas is working on it. Yeah, release it, fire it up, baby, right? So, but then the lung issue is like, I don't know where to go. Like, hello, So you get my point, and that's why it's important that everything has to be cleared. I know we all have our blockages, and they come back, and then by time you will realize them, you will feel them, you will be more aware of it, and that's another reason you need to be more aware of your body. Your body will speak to you. And then you can act, right? Like, if you're angry, your solar plexus is a little, right? So, I play around, not that I play around with the runes, but, me personal, that is what I do. Let's say I have too much fire in my solar plexus. I like to calm it down with Isa a bit, because then obviously something is bothering me, making me angry, but I don't know what that is. So I need Isa. Like, I put Isa on Kenas, for example, like lower the flame a bit, and Isa will put me in the state of self-reflection, right? And then I'm kind of cooling down the fire, and then once the flames are a little lower, I can see the problem better, right? Other than that, my problems are hiding, or my anger is hiding behind the flames, and I can't see them. So with Isa, I go in that state of self-reflection. So, but like I said, every rune has its meaning, but yet if you work with them, they can have so much more messages for you, right? So, yeah, especially if you harness the real energy into the runes, that's a double whammy. So you want to make sure you know what you do, and preferably, like I said, ask someone who knows what they're doing, because other than that, you have wild energy flowing through your spine and you don't know what's going to hit you. And yeah, I think that was it for now. I wanted to do 30 minutes, and now I'm at 39 minutes. Surprise! So yeah, I hope you could work with that. Like I said, I'm not getting into too much. I'm explaining right now the runes, which runes for what issue or symptom you may use for yourself. But it also depends on when I do that, for example. I might get a totally different rune to different body part because that person needs a totally different energy. So that's why I mean it's very important that you know what you do. So those are just like the runes that are coming to me right now talking about it. And since we're all trying to connect a little more with Source, to wake up a little bit more, I just had that on my mind today. And especially since I know there's a lot of people right now in a transformation kinda. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it and can do something with my information. Like I said all the time, my what I say, it's not the law, it's not the last word. Those are my personal thoughts, my opinions, or the messages I receive from the runes. And yeah, if you have questions, let me know. And I try to answer them in a decent time because I'm working too, as you know. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And next week I will talk about the herb, the alchemy of smudging, and I will explain the herb that you can use to support the rune Odal and manas. So have a good night or a good day or good morning wherever you are. Bye bye.